with this draw.
I can't remember. Are we being sarcastic about Chalice anymore, or are we being serious now?
No. We are being serious. We've seen a lot of Chalice players draw their Chalice early in the game, and it has benefited them immensely, because once you get that engine rolling, it gets a lot harder to stop. And a lot of the deck's weaknesses is when it doesn't find its namesake card. It's not nearly as good at playing the long game.
Yeah, I think that given Unearthly found a Chalice early on and also has a channel, that Unearthly will be able to leverage these into a victory if Chicken doesn't find a gift by like turn 9 or so.
Okay, so Chicken does have his own channel, and he's going to have Champion activated on 6, which is pretty early on, and Unearthly has no way to block that right now. Auric Runehammer, an interesting choice in the list.
Definitely the first card to board out in this matchup, but very helpful against your typical weaknesses of Bartholo and Rakano.
Not going to look so good against the 5/5 Champion of Cunning. And I think this
it actually doesn't kill anything in the Feln deck except for Withering Witch.
So this can be fairly freely blocked unless you're playing around exactly Auric Runehammer, which...
We'll see how deep they want to go. All the way.
We're going a fair amount of deep here. We're going to annihilate this end of turn, for sure.
Yeah, that prevents a card draw and lets you attack in for 3 more points.
And then we're going to slam Champion of Cunning. BSH is a good draw too. Taking to the Skies is a good strategy, but I think the Champion is slightly more valuable.
Yeah, that also leaves you less vulnerable to a Harsh Rule.
Does not attack with the 3/5.
I guess they know about the Runehammer now, so they want to block this Kothon. They don't want to like trade 3 for 4.
A lot of free attacks, yeah. But so you're.
I kind of don't mind trading 3 for 4 with a Champion of Cunning in play, but
the problem is that now there are two flying units, and the double block on Champion is fairly solid most of the time. Although, obviously, Angry Chicken never going to make a bluff attack. Bloodcaster gives him good late game value and gets him up to the 8 he needs for channel. And this attack is
Desert
now...
Marshal is not too bad either.
Yes. So he is going to take 8 in the air. You can't not block with your Bloodcaster and then block with your Champion.
Yeah, agree.
That just doesn't make any sense.
Although 11 is scary because that's dead to 1 channel.
Ugh. Alright.
He doesn't want to die to 1 channel. And he can finish off this hammer with Black Sky Harbinger.
So, Angry Chicken is running 3 Varus. So it's not like that's never coming back. But...
maybe you just channel face here. Maybe that's just what you're supposed to do.
Then that puts you to 11. So... okay.
He's going for it.
Oh, there's a Vera.
No guts, no glory.
And Unearthly has the channels, but he does not have the power.
Yeah, he's missed a power drop.
So this is a bit back and forth.
Yeah, this is interesting. Unearthly might just want to Harsh Rule here. Because, like, silencing something and then drawing a card, you're taking even more damage.
Is he looking to block? I think he's looking to block. And that does not play well into Permafrost.
Okay, well, it worked out pretty well because he did find the 7th power, so he's just 1 more away from these channels.
But because he didn't attack, he needs to channel twice to win the game now. And, I mean, he would anyways, because he hasn't dealt enough damage yet. But...
yeah, he doesn't have a full hand, so it's going to take double channel. So he just wants to live until double channel. Primal Source.
So...
it has no backlashes. Only 2 islands favor to prevent this in game 1.
Well, Unearthly has the full 4 islands favors, or islands choices, but has not yet drawn them. I don't think that you play necessarily Vera here. Yeah, another second champion is probably fine because it plays better into harsh roll.
Yeah, I mean, Unearthly's like in a tough spot now. He doesn't have a way to pop this Aegis easily. And if he harsh rules, he's gonna take 7 down to 1.
No, the Desert Marshal's going to come down end of turn and kill
Oh yeah, yeah.
him. So harsh rule kills him. This attack implies harsh rule.
Yeah. I don't think there's any punishment for Angry Chicken just taking it. There is a punishment for him
For
blocking, though.
because of the second.
What?
What?
No hammer?
What?
Well, no, I guess hammer ends up with him taking the same amount of damage. Or more damage, even. Yeah, he was just dead if he hammers. He would have gone down to 1. No, he would have died exactly if he hammered. Because he had no unit follow-up.
Okay, so he was just dead either way. It just...
Yep.
It looked weird. Alright, so...
We didn't do the math, and nobody expected Desert Marshal.
We will hop back into OND Flames chat to see what sort of chalice know-how they are passing around in the with their backs to the wall, down 2-1 and with 1 game behind them. Let's go to them.
I'd rather have the third rule, or only 3 rules.
Okay. All right. So so we have the protects, the wasps, the titans.
Yeah, I think our plan is fine.
Okay. And
Are we taking out all the healers?
yeah, we did.
Okay.
So, did you see the list?
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
Is the one scrolled up in the channel?
Yep, looks good to me. The only concern is that we might be a little low on chalice targets, but I think we have enough that's fine.
Yeah, I think the idea is just to hope that we can kill their champions mainly, and maybe have a protect against gifts.
Now that I'm thinking about it, is there any consideration to having 3 chalice instead of 4?
No, absolutely not.
I didn't think so.
Okay.
Because yeah, getting that 1 is still super important in this matchup.
It is very much. All right, we're good. Let's go.
Okay, so
Interesting there. I expected the cut of healers for the Scorpion Wasps, but then they also cut Lumen Defenders for Sandstorm Titans. So a little bit low, only 21 actual Chalice targets, 3 of which are Scorpion Wasps, so it's kind of like only 18.
So they're
I like to be at like 22.
Well, they're basically playing cards that are better against Champion of Cunning, since the 3 cards that, well, the 3.5 cards that really matter are the Champions, the Veras, the Gift, and the 0.5 being the Bloodcaster, because it can steal something important. But the players have their plan. We've gone back down into game, and we've got that now. So
yeah, so Feln took game 1 with no gift. And oh, okay. So Angry Chicken has Island's Favor in hand, which is pretty important to not getting channeled out. Chalice has no way to pop a face Aegis easily without. I mean, you can channel it, but then you wasted the whole damage portion of the channel.
that's been most of the lists. I don't think there's anything in here that adds to it. So the Backlash face damage can pop it, assuming they brought in Backlash, and that was a play that we almost saw previously. But yes, I think it's just the channels, and you are correct.
Okay, so looks like Unearthly has kept a slow hand, and he won't get punished for that in this matchup. But it has to decide between seeking for second Primal or first Justice. I think you probably do just get Primal and then hope your Wisdom finds you the power you need.
Yeah. Well,
And
both players are shaping up for this to be a bit of a long game. We're going to see Chalice on 4 again, and this time there's not going to be a quick champion to decide it, which isn't so good for Chicken, because the quicker they can establish the champions, the better the game usually goes for them. Otherwise, it turns into a bit of a gift slugfest.
yeah, and Chicken has no champions or gifts in sight here, or no fifth power. So just kind of like Wisdom and hope that the top of your deck is kind. It looks like debating playing around Scorpion Wasp here. I think the way you would play around Scorpion Wasp is to not attack with your Bloodcaster, since it's just so much better than Steward in this matchup.
I think the way that you play around the Scorpion Wasp is to attack. Make them use it, because every Scorpion Wasp that chumps something else is not killing a champion, and that's one of the few one-for-one ways that they can kill champion in this matchup.
Okay, yeah, that's
You
fair.
know?
So you're fine trading your Bloodcaster for a Wasp?
Yeah, I mean, I said, like I said, Bloodcaster is only about half a card in this matchup. Its only advantage is the ultimate. The 2/5 doesn't really do anything, especially this early on in the game. You're happy to see them use one of their precious Scorpion Wasp resources against your champions.
Yeah, I guess another good point is that it's like in like Felmir's, like Felskar mirrors back when that was popular. Bloodcaster was amazing because it buries your opponent by being like a 3-for-1. But here the 2/5 doesn't matter, and Chalice draws so many cards that like drawing 2 isn't really pulling you super far ahead at all.
Yeah, see? Okay, so they're getting in there, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a Scorpion Wasp come out. I'm just not sure if that's right. Again, it depends on what you're trying to do. It is only their first Wasp, and they are a little bit on the back foot.
Oh, they just Wasp the Steward. I guess like low on power, missing Justice, have a Desert Marshal for the Bloodcaster.
Whew.
Geez, both players missing power.
That's some late game though. Although we see Foil Vera right next to non-Foil Vera, and
aReNGee is upset.
Tisk. Well, the first Justice has been found, and the champion has been found, so the pieces are coming together. But we're not quite there yet. So the Bloodcaster can't attack. And Island's Choice is in, but it's not very good right now.
Yeah, both players just desperately want power, basically.
I'm not sure how much I like Choice in this matchup. It catches Channel. It catches, obviously, the champions, which are key, but the champions have Aegis, right? And then it catches the Veras, but the Veras need to attack. So the only other cards that it catch are Deathstrike and Omen. Yeah. So,
yeah.
Whoops. Wrong button.
I kind of like Unearthly using the Desert Marshal to silence here, so he could also deploy Chalice. Because by playing Archive Curator here, it means he can't play Desert Marshal next turn and play Chalice and use it. Although I guess since Chicken missed power, he's not afraid of Bloodcaster ultimating, so it's okay to just silence one thing.
Yeah, so I guess my point that I was trying to make with that long-winded search through the deck list is I think Island's Choice is too defensive. It's a card you can't play proactively, as we probably see the Chalice get taken here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Punished for not playing Chalice, although I revised my thing, and I think it is fine to play the Curator last turn. Like, you got a little bit unlucky to get your Chalice Sabotage, but that doesn't make the play wrong.
Yeah, specifically that turn. But you'll draw another Chalice in time. And the Bloodcast, or the Desert Marshals, are pretty key in knocking off Aegis end of turn from champion, and then Harsh Ruling later on in the game. It kind of turns into a 3-card matchup. You know, where it's just these 3 cards that have found matter, and everything else is just noise most of the time. Like this damage, it's just noise. The first channel can only pop Aegis. right? So there's no way that Unearthly is just going to surprise burn him out.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Chicken needs to find some power, but like even if he whiffs and has to chump block for a turn or two, like it's not the end of the world.
Chicken can play his first Cunning here. And yes, it's going to get silenced, and that's going to be a shame. But now he has much better blocks against the Desert Marshal. Or the Sandstorm Titan, sorry. He's going to get
Yep.
silenced by the Desert Marshal.
Yeah, I think that's a totally fine play.
Think you can escape me?
And I don't even know if Unearthly attacks here. Maybe he just wants to sit back now. Although Angry Chicken might actually have the better late game since that Chalice got discarded and Unearthly has no channels in sight.
Yes. Without Parliament in the side, it gets harder and harder for Chalice to win the game without getting its Chalice value. So Channel the Tempest is no good into the Aegis, basically, is the problem. But Aegis isn't very good for Chalice because everything in Feln breaks Aegis. Harbinger, Bloodcaster, Steward of the Past, Vera's Favor, every card they play pops Aegis. So they can't play Aegis into Gift unless it's Protect specifically. So the long game just gets a little worse, and this is not good. You're like priced into harsh
I think I might have attacked at the 5/5, just like see if it baited out the island's favor first. But the conservative line is probably correct, given that your hand is so packed with power. Like, just look at this: 2 Varas, Channel, Harbinger, Champ.
I think you're priced into harsh rolling here if you're Unearthly, because if you don't harsh roll and your opponent does have the presumed follow up, you're taking what 17 damage. I don't think you can do that just to. Just to hold harsh roll and make them have the removal. So Black Sky on empty board here.
Yeah, I mean, showing them that yes, Unearthly, you were right. I had this.
Yeah, Kothon being held for ultimate in order to get value. Unearthly is indeed in trouble if he does not find a Chalice and soon.
I found a Scorpion Wasp. That's kind of nice.
Yeah, but
it answers this Champion of Cunning.
He needs to hope that Angry Chicken never draws power, because as soon as he hits 8, I think that's too much gas. With double Vera and Channel the Tempest.
Yeah, I think that Unearthly does need to find a way to beat this, or he could just draw a channel, kill a unit with it, draw another channel off that, and then suddenly he can keep up. Because Chicken's channel is not going to resolve against this Island's Choice.
Well, the problem with that is that with Channel he can keep up in cards, but I don't think he can keep up in quality, because I think Champion and Vera are definitely card for card better than anything in Unearthly's deck. I know Kothon's good, and I know Sandstorm Titan's good, but activated Champion and Vera that can bring back Champion is better than that. So
yeah, it looks like we got another 2-turn Witch into Harbinger combo.
Yeah.
Here.
No,
just goes for the Harbinger.
So I think he's just setting up Witch Storm as soon as he draws a power.
Yeah. This also is like a safer line. Like, again, you have all of these Varas and channels in your hand. As long as you just stay alive, which 3/5 lifesteal flyers that gain 5 on summon are good for, then you'll be fine.
Yeah, you don't need to rush into playing Withering Witch, hoping your opponent does nothing, and then this Bloodcaster is pretty free to play. Not a ton of downside.
I don't think you're worried about Unearthly harsh ruling this board. He's got like 2 of his own Kothons on there.
And even if he does, and you lose a Bloodcaster, that's okay. Like, again, as soon as you draw any power, you've got such good plays in your hand that you're not really worried about losing Bloodcaster value. Although, if Chicken draws like Primal Sigil and then alts Bloodcaster, I'm going to lose my mind.
Just think that's a little too greedy?
I think that's a little too deep on the late game.
Well, Unearthly has a couple of desert marshals here, so he could go for the silence the harbingers and get in for 10. That puts Chicken on a 1-turn clock to find that undepleted power here.
Yeah, that's what he's doing.
He does
That doesn't
not.
quite do it, but it does work out. Okay.
He can kill a Kothon and go to 10.
Yeah, but then he only takes 4 in the air. He can kill the
Yeah.
owl.
Yep.
He can do the ultimate greed play of Vera's
Just favor.
face. Yeah. And then lose the game to the Desert Wasp, the Scorpion Wasp, but I assume he just plays it here. I think if you're Unearthly, you have to slam Scorpion Wasp and attack for 5. Like, I think that's your only game-winning line. And just hope you're like, I know your opponent probably has Lightning Storm, but I don't think holding it wins you the game either. Because your board just gets swept and you take what? 8 damage, and then
Yeah, getting that Chalice sabotaged was just ended the game basically. Like Unearthly just ran out of gas.
Yeah, so that's game. So Lightning Storm cleans up the board, champion comes down, and then what? You know, Vera follows it up. Too much gas. So that's
double activated champion here.
That's why I was saying I think the only line that Unearthly had to win this game was to play the Scorpion Wasp, attack for 5, and then hope that there somehow wasn't a Lightning Storm, and that the Vera's favorite witch was a last ditch attempt. Oh,
we found a harsh rule, but like the Varas are just gonna bring back this champion in perpetuity, and it's gonna be all over.
It's gonna be bad news. Please don't channel and then attack. Don't be that guy.
Well, attack and then channel face, and then because there's no way he doesn't Island's Choice this, right?
I don't think so. But okay, there is a way.
Oh, he wasps it. All right. Well, I mean, it's coming right back.
Foil Vera.
Foil Vera.
Called it.
Yep, I think that just about does it.
Yeah, the Scorpion Wasp could have blocked this champion. The Island's Choice cannot block this champion. And honestly, I think Chicken or Unearthly was holding on to Island's Choice because he is scared of channel and wanted to have the ability to kill that. But I don't think it's going to end in channels.
Oh, hey, he drew a channel. I mean, it doesn't matter, but it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
He doesn't have any echo card he can hit,
The problem
right?
is it can only do 5 damage, yeah, so I can't even kill Vera.
Yeah, that channel was just a little bit too late coming. He just did nothing for too many turns, and Chicken was able to make it to Vara.
I mean, the Aegis on Angry Chicken's face is pretty key here, because if Unearthly had one more card in hand, he would have had lethal if Chicken did not have Aegis, so not being able to break Aegis and then having those early Islands favors to protect you from a card as high impact as Channel usually is was pretty key in the victory, and so was, you know, drawing all that gas that he did. Unearthly never found the Chalice after his one turn off got sabotaged, so maybe you were right, and maybe the play was just to Desert Marshal and then rush out the Chalice just to get it down because of how important it is in the matchup.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, I wasn't thinking about sabotage. I was just thinking about wanting to activate Chalice the next turn, which he would have been able to do. But it turned out that playing Marshal plus Chalice would have probably won him the game. Just would have been able to draw an extra 10 cards or so. So was that another 3-0?
No, that match was a 3-1 victory for OND.
Well, you've been on a 3-0 for a certain deck, right?
Oh, for Feln. Yes.
Angry Chicken win 3 matches in a row? He beat Shed, Unearthly, and Ilya. Yeah.
Okay, so yes, Ilya took the first match, and then the comeback was all Angry Chicken. As we sit here for the moment, so we're gonna get a winner interview in here, and I just want to note that the right side team has won again and is currently 5-0 as Feather was on the right there, which means that SPG Echo has a long legacy to live up to going into that Destiny match in 40 minutes.
So we should bet the farm on them.
Well, I mean, they're looking pretty good. I mean, Destiny has a lot of good players, but SPG Echo also won their matches and they look pretty good too. So, but enough about what's coming next, as we are going to interview OND Feather, the winning team, specifically their captain Alunix, but they'll all be in there. So hopping into there. Congratulations, guys, on your win there.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I know you guys have a lot of a rivalry going on with your sister team Flame, and I'm sure it feels good to get that down, and definitely feels good to avoid the dreaded 0-2 start.
Yeah. The O2 was rough though, considering last week was kind of garbage.
Well, I can't speak
That's
for
one.
but so once again, we had our second deck run the table there, as your Found Control deck, piloted presumably by Angry Chicken, ran the table there with 3 wins to its name. But it looked to me like you guys were all sort of piling in on the decisions. I know Alunix, you're known for your Found Control, so I imagine you had some hand in that.
Yeah, I was very vocal, I guess. Probably too much.
We basically all discussed most plays, so
Yeah, we did talk everything through.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel that I know the Chalice versus Feln matchup is one that we've had a lot of times at the end there. Do you feel that this particular Chalice build sideboard plan was effective against Feln, or do you think it played more into where the strengths of the Feln versus Chalice matchup are?
Like, I don't think Chalice can sideboard well versus Feln in the first place. I don't think the matchup is particularly bad for Feln in general.
Mm-hmm.
Since they have very limited win conditions, and normally Black Sky Harbinger can carry the game on its own.
Mm-hmm. We've seen a lot of times that the simple face Aegis that you get from the island's favor just lasts the entire game and prevents any channels from sneaking in there and dealing all the damage. Like all the 3-4 attacks that the Sandstorm Titan got in ended up being mostly just noise, because they don't have any good way to close out the game, because they can't pop that damn Aegis.
It functions the same way as Combrade does in the matchup, that they don't have reach, so you don't really care how much damage you take, because the only way you lose is through board control.
Mm-hmm.
And when you only lose through board control, you basically don't care what your health total is when you play with sweepers.
Yeah, I noticed that basically all of your plays were super conservative, I guess, passive. Like you never made a block that could get blown up by a combat trick if you could hold up a removal spell to beat it the next turn, and you never attacked into a combat trick if you didn't have to attack. It's very patient.
Like, in general, most Felon's matchups don't win through attrition. You basically 2 turns attacks, and if you can just keep control over board with Felon, you're fine. The scariest parts were when like actual people played real burn with like Flame Blast and Obliterate from Burn Queen. Because dying out of hand is the scariest part, since you play as much removal as you do.
Oh, yeah, so often you just get burned out from 15. So a question that we were discussing in the booth that we had was against the Argenport deck that you played, it'd be like the second game, Feln versus Ilya. Did you bring in the sabotages to try and take protects out of their hand, or did you leave those in the sideboard?
Let's just try to remember.
I think we didn't bring them in there, right?
No, we brought in the sabotages.
Pressed the wrong button. That's fine. Because versus, what was it, versus Argenport? It's fine.
Yeah, they're like super low to the ground Argenport with lots of 1-drops and protects.
No, we just took in the strikes.
Bring in any sabotages there.
Its sabotages were for Stonescar. So we didn't bring in any sabotages for Felon. It was sabotage in the Stone Scar matchup. We only brought in strikes.
Okay.
Yeah, and for the Stone Scar matchup, it was basically Toth could speak more on that.
So it seems like the dominating decks of this Team League format, where it's like last deck standing, are Felon Control and Burn Queen. So how do you build your lineup to play around those two powerhouses? Like, is your plan just play those two in something that beats them in Rakano, or do you have some other specific thing in mind?
Like, you should just play Rakano. It's the best deck that doesn't see play for unknown reasons.
Weren't you talking bad about Rakano just briefly?
No, like, Rakano is probably one of the better decks that don't see play. Like, I don't play the deck, but it's Felon Control's worst matchup by a mile. There's nothing that comes close to how bad. Well, actually, Big Combo is pretty shit as well. But Rakano is by far worst. And it does well versus Stone Scar as well, so you should play that deck.
So why do you think we're not seeing it? Do you think
I mean,
people
no
are just...
argument for me. I agree with what you're saying.
Oh, right.
I don't think you can like specifically target both like Felon and Stone Scar like with one deck, so you have to, unless you're playing Rakano in that sense. But like, I don't think you should try to match the decks.
So
Because you get
like, you know that you're playing against Unearthly, who's like the godfather of Rakano, and you don't think you should bring a deck that's Rakano? Like, you brought Burn and Felon, which both are bad against it.
He's not playing Rakano this season, so it's
Yeah. Basically told us he won't, so we trust him on that somewhat.
Okay. Insider info.
So what decks
I
did you
guess you can call it that.
what decks did you guys expect this week from Flame in your preparations?
actually didn't really know what they were bringing. We did figure they would bring a Stone Scar variant, but apparently not.
I mean, I suppose since Ilya has been talking about the Argent board deck for quite a while, it could be expected that he will bring it, so...
The most surprising deck they brought was actually Aggro Combo to me.
Well, Shed did play it last week and did okay. So
Yeah, no, like I
wasn't
think
bad.
Aggro Combo is fine. Like, it's a decent and a good deck. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's just surprising to me the fact that they bring it when we have Chicken on our team, who is notorious for big combo.
Mm-hmm.
And that seems like a really bad idea to play Aggro Combo into big combo.
Well, I noticed that they had that you guys had Chicken playing, but on Felon Control, and Rex been playing it off that Chicken plays a lot of Felon Control on ladder, but it still seemed pretty surprising to see him with a pilot rather than a Lunix.
It was because we weren't sure who would be playing this week.
Okay.
We can let you in on a secret. How we decide our players is based by randomness and who hasn't played. Because it's a team
Basically,
tournament.
It's the 3 people that didn't play last week that played this time.
Yep.
All right, so you guys are just spreading it out and letting everybody get in and just sort of like playing as a team. So that's good. It's good to see that you guys are coming together, if some more vocally than others. But yeah, congratulations on your win, guys. We're going to hop out now and prep for our next match, which will be the SPG guys, which I'm sure you guys will be keeping an eye on there. So congratulations to you, and we will see you guys again next week.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks again.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
See ya. Bye.
Okay, so next up, as I do not have this ready, we will have the sister matches of SPG Destiny versus SPG Echo, and they are all ready to go, which is fantastic. I am not, but I will be getting that match card up for us in just a second, and then I will let you, LightsOutAce, talk about it, because I have to get everything else set up.